Welcome to Bari Chats with Nina
and Pam
of Bari Besties.
No sugarcoating here. We are talking bariatric life in all its realness.
The wins,
Setbacks,
food noise,
grief,
regain,
self-care,
nutrition,
movement,
motivation,
and mindset.
So if you are ready for honest, empowering conversations, you are in the right place.
We are serving straight up truth about our experience as bariatric patients.
So grab your water, your courage, and remember,
we are stronger together.
Hey, bestie.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Long time no see.
We got to hang out last Saturday. It was so much fun.
Yes, it was. It was good girl time. It wasn't.
It was a Bari Bestiez
Yes, it wasn't bariatric related. It was, well, no, it's always bariatric related with us, but it was about us.
Yeah, we went to the farmer's market and we really got a chance to just get out and walk and talked about good recipes and things like that. But it was really just us time, which is important.
Lots of good whole foods.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Veggies, those tomatoes.
Oh, they were so good. I ate them like in 2 days.
I have 3 left.
I finished mine yesterday. So actually it took me 3 days. But yeah.
I like the ones that look like little baby watermelons.
Yes, those are actually, they would burst in your mouth.
Yeah, they just pop.
Absolutely.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
I think I really want to talk about the weight we shed as part of our journey. And I know journey is such a open concept because
everyone uses it.
Everyone uses it, but Pam and I are of the opinion your journey never ends. No. And usually a journey has a destination. But I guess really the destination is to be healthy, happy, and loving yourself.
I like that. I like that. Relearning self-love.
Yes. And I do struggle with that, unfortunately.
Yeah. With you, it's starting self-love.
Yes.
I had to relearn.
Yeah.
You had to learn.
Yeah. I didn't have it. If you watched any of our previous, you may have gotten that. So I want to ask you a question.
Oh. Flipping the table on me, are we?
And confidence. What is the difference in, I know you were a very confident person before and after, but how is your confidence different from before bariatric surgery to now 3.5 years post-op?
Well, I was confident as a child, as a teenager, as a 20-something.
Mm-hmm.
I started losing my confidence when I started gaining weight. I remember, being in the grocery store, simple things like being in the grocery store. And if someone looked at me, it's like they're judging me about my weight. Or, I remember being in Walmart with Jacob when he was this itty tiny thing one time. And there was a lady in front of me, this little old lady with her cart, and she stopped. Like we had a whole traffic, line of traffic in Walmart. And there was 2 young girls behind me and they accidentally bumped into, I guess it was an accident. They bumped into me with their cart and I turned around. And I said, I'm sorry. I said, I'm waiting on her to move. And one of the girls, she said, well, if you'd move your fat ass, we could get around you. And it just broke me. It just hurt so bad. Wow. And that was when the first thing I remember about being publicly humiliated. And, Jacob was maybe not even a year old.
Mm-hmm.
And it just hurt my heart so bad. And I started tearing up and I turned around and I said, just give me a moment. They were doing stocks. Mm-hmm. They were stocking over here and I couldn't go around her. Yeah. And it was her and her friend and they were probably 20s. I was 27. I wasn't that old. And so she just kept taking her cart and just buttoning it up against my heels.
Oh.
And I turned around and I said, if you just give me a second, I'll get out of your way. And they started
more polite,
cracking up. Well, the Pam today,
you'd have turned on them.
Yeah, a different person. But I finally got around the old lady and I started just moving fast to get out of the way. And they followed me all around the store. And it was just me and Jacob. And I remember I went to a manager and I said, these girls are following me and my son around. I said, I'm a little afraid. And I said, they're insulting me. And I told him what happened. And he looked at me, he said, what do you want me to do? And I said, nothing. I'm sorry, it's not your problem. I left my car. I took Jacob. I went home and I remember walking in and Jacob's dad, I was just in tears and I told him what was going on. And he looked at me and he said, why would you let someone treat you that way? If that was me that said something like that to you, you would shred me in a heartbeat. Why is it you can come at me if I say something out of line? And it was that from that moment on, I got angry. I got really angry because I realized, no, they don't have the right to treat me that way.
No.
But also from that point on, I started hiding. I started wearing baggier clothes to hide my weight. And at that time, I honestly was about the size I am today. I've lost 174 pounds and I no longer hide.
Yep.
I was 27 years old, had just had a C-section. My baby wasn't that old. And I was this size, but I'd always been like 120, 130. So my confidence for about 15, 20 years just diminished.
Oh.
And I was always the fat mom. I was jealous of all the other thin moms. And, when, my boys played sports and I was always sitting off to the side away from everyone else. I would always try to get there extremely early so I could go in up the bleachers
without people
watching me, and I could be comfortable. I could sit at the top to where, nobody's sitting behind me.
Yeah.
And I just remember that. I remember one time I volunteered to, how they have the right before school's out, before summer starts, they have was a field day.
Yes.
I volunteered. I actually got the day off to volunteer. And I can't remember if it was Jacob or Jonathan, which child it was, to be honest. But I remember I thought I was going to be running some type of fun booth. And they called me and told me I was doing a parachute. And all I could think about was, and I faked being sick and told them I couldn't go. Because all I can remember was in class in PE where you had to toss it up like this and bring it down and sit down really quick.
Oh.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I could have never sat down. I don't think they thought about it.
Yeah. Wow.
I really, unless you've been in these shoes, you really don't think about the fact that it's not easy to sit down and get back up. And I just didn't want to embarrass my son. So I canceled.
Oh.
That was probably an embarrassment for him now that I look back. But anyway, squirreled on you.
No,
but
that's all part of it.
Yeah.
Where you said you didn't start getting overweight until you were in your
I was
early 20s.
27.
Mid-20s. I started my life overweight. I was 13 years old, and I remember being my best friend at the time, Rachel. We got on the scales at her mom's house, and she was like 93 pounds, and I was 128. She goes, "Wow, you're as big as an adult." And at 13, that was the first time. And Rachel and I have reconnected as adults, and she has seen me go through this process.
She didn't realize the impact of her words at
her
13.
words stuck. Because at 13, I'm 13 years old. I'm not an adult. I shouldn't be that big. It was very impactful. And I was actually very developed. I had hips. I had curves. I wasn't fat. At that time, I was not fat. 128 pounds. I didn't grow a lot height-wise after about 13, 14 years old. It was slow.
I always had breasts.
Yeah, me too.
And I had the hourglass shape. I had hips. I was not overweight. When I graduated high school, I weighed 120 pounds.
You were probably just curvy.
I was very curvy. I was a majorette and everything. But do you know, I remember then girls talking about my weight because I had a shape, because I had breasts. I'm sorry, I'm not flat.
Well, I remember being on the school bus, and Victor Wolf, if you are listening to this, they are still real. And no, you cannot see them. And you can call me Charmin all day long because I'm still not going to show it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in 5th grade.
Mine will be John Fornash, you and your nasty comments.
We all have a Victor Wolf in our life. But that's the thing, children do not realize the impact of their words. Because here's the thing, children are very honest. They don't always realize how honest they are. I can remember my stepdaughter with my ex-husband um, came up one day and said the word fat because her mom was very thin. Her dad, my ex-husband, very thin. Um, and I was the first larger woman she had been around other than her grandmother. And of
Yeah.
course, age did that to her mostly. And so we happened to go see the Minions, and that she's so fluffy occurred. Okay. And I said, "See, I'm not fat, I'm fluffy." I said, "My heart is so big, my body had to grow to accommodate the extra love I have for you." And that's how we dealt with that particular moment that day. But like you, there have been some times, I mean, you know, in high school, very overdeveloped in the chest. I mean, I was already wearing a C cup by the time I graduated. Um, no, I was in a D cup when I graduated.
I was the 6th grade cheerleader they had to order an adult sweater for because I was already a B cup.
Oh my Lord. So we're both very endowed. And sorry, guys, if you're having to listen to this, but we promise we're going to get to something good.
Yes.
The thing is that, some of us gain weight early and then we get fitter for a while.
Mhm.
I did. I was fit for a while. And then some of us don't get overweight until trauma hits or something like that. Well, my trauma started as a child, so no
And mine
chance there.
started as an adult.
Yeah. But trauma doesn't always, and that's the one thing I want to make sure people realize, just because you have trauma does not mean you always gain weight. It's how you handle the trauma. So I have a therapist and I absolutely love him. And one of these days I will say who he is, but right now I'm in the depth. I had such an amazing conversation with him yesterday. This guy is absolutely amazing. I am absolutely thrilled to be working with him. He got deep with me the other day and he said, so he goes, there's this circle. And he said, I'm trying to remember the exact words, but I'll kind of paraphrase it. He goes, if you got in trouble when you were a kid and your mom or dad yelled at you or someone, an adult yelled at you and then all of a sudden you're hurt because you didn't realize what you're doing was a problem, was a bad thing. Well, now you're classifying yourself as a bad person. Then all of a sudden they come and apologize by bringing you to go get ice cream. That was my mom's go-to, was to take me out to McDonald's ice cream or to Carl's at the time. And then there's a honeymoon phase where everything seems okay. And then it triggers again. And then it's just cyclical. Well, unfortunately, mine was cyclical all the time. And so I never knew when I was going to be hurt again. So I lost trust in people because every time I trusted somebody, they broke that trust. There are very few people in my life, and I can count them all in one hand. My son, my current husband, you, my grandparents, both of them, right there. 5 people that have never hurt me in my life. And that's sad. Sorry to point that voice out, but that's part of this. And I know we've really kind of gone off topic a little bit, but
Oh, no, this
it
goes with your
impacts.
confidence.
It
It
does.
impacted your
It
confidence.
impacted my confidence. And it wasn't until I've always had confidence at work because I know I'm
You know what you're
smart.
doing.
I know what I'm doing. I'm a leader in that respect. But when it came to things at home, I would shrivel up in the corner because I was afraid to say things. It was almost like I was waiting for that shoe to drop. So I would say as little as possible. I would do as little as I would try not to be seen. I was invisible to people because I didn't want to have that beating or negative talk to me because it hurt so much. But what built my confidence up was my grandparents first, believing in me, and then much later, my husband now, I swear,
Who has loved you
through
through it all?
he has loved me through some tough stuff. And without him, I'm not sure I would have done the bariatric surgery to begin with.
He's loved you since you were fluffy.
I know. He loved me since I was 13. We actually dated when we were 13, and then I moved and all that good stuff. That's a long story. Um, Point being, You are in control of your confidence. You can't rely on other people to help you be confident. Now, other people can diminish the feelings. They can make you feel less than what you are. And what I'm learning by going to therapy is that my worth is not in anyone else's hands but mine. And so my confidence is booming right now.
Mhm.
Yes, have I made mistakes as a mother? Absolutely. Have I made mistakes as a wife? 100%. Have I made mistakes as a friend? Absolutely, but I'm not saying nothing. But it happens. One statement he said is the version you are in that bad moment is not the version you have to be for the rest of your life. That stuck to me because, yes, did I make mistakes as a single mom raising my son? Yes. Did I make mistakes with my ex husband? Yes. Did I make mistakes with my current husband, my best friend? Yes, we all do. We all do. But if you don't forgive yourself, you will repeat the same things because that's what you know.
Why do you think it's so hard for us to forgive ourselves?
I think we don't think we're worth it.
But what did you do wrong? I mean, really, we, as mothers and wives and friends and daughters, we did nothing different than other
Mm.
women did. Why do we feel that
I think
we're less?
we got to the point, we got to a low point.
We let our weight define us.
Yes, we did. We don't anymore. Like you said, you're at the weight you were at 27 right now,
Hmm.
and you were being demoralized by people in public. You wouldn't dare let that happen now.
Oh no, I'd go to jail.
Yes, you and me both. Especially once I found out they did it, I'd come kill them for you. And if they were already dead, I'd wake them up and kill them again.
I'd have an alibi.
Yep, she has an alibi at all times. But I think you're right. I think what it is, for one, we've allowed people to diminish us because we didn't feel worthy. Our weight was defining us. And that actually leads me into this next question. When did you first realize the weight you carried was not just physical?
Oh, wow. Honestly, I didn't realize until after I had bariatric surgery
Yeah.
because I always thought all of my problems would go away once I lost weight. I just want to be thin again.
Hmm.
I want to be healthy again and everything will be fine. And then the weight went away and the confidence came back, but the trauma of being an abused wife, having an ex-husband that was physically, emotionally abusive, was unfaithful, and it made me feel like I did something wrong.
Hmm.
That trauma was still there. And I have been divorced from him since 1991. I have been remarried for almost 26 years
Wow.
and in a
Congratulations.
happy marriage,
Yes.
an amazing man that loves me through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And he met me when I was fluffy.
I love
But,
my fluffy.
but, until I had bariatric surgery, I hadn't faced the trauma from that marriage.
Hmm.
I just moved on with life and just,
We tend to put it behind
I
us.
I thought it was behind me.
We tend to
Yeah.
stick it in the way back of our mind because, we just need to move forward.
Yeah.
Everybody says don't look in the past.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to look in
Yes.
the past
And
occasionally.
thanks to Facebook, he resurfaced. There have been conversations, you know, over the years. I remember one conversation I had, most recent was I had sent a message. I was like, you know, I've got to do this. And I forgave him.
Hmm.
But not until I told him why I needed to forgive him and what he made me feel like.
Hmm.
And one of the questions I said, for years I asked, years before even leaving, why? I just wanted to know why. Why you wanted to physically hurt me and to humiliate me and why I wasn't good enough. And he told me he didn't feel I deserved an answer. And he said,
Holy crap.
well, what he said to me also was, if you had just not been so difficult,
Is
I wouldn't have had to do those things.
that the same? That's not the one I know, right?
No.
Okay.
I
I would kill him for you,
Yeah,
I promise.
this is not Jacob's dad.
No, no. By the way, we are not physical people, but we would be for each other, I
Yeah.
promise.
I was I was anorexic. I was 98 pounds. He was like 240,
Mhm.
6'1". This was way back. This was before I became a mom. This was years before. But
Probably while I was still in high school.
yeah. And I was 20. He
Mhm.
was my high school sweetheart. We got married when I was 20. I was By the
So I
time I
was
was
14.
almost 22, I was divorced.
Mhm.
I always thought that I could change him. And
We always do.
his background, he came from his dad treated his mom the same way. And it, just, yeah, I won't go in, out of respect for his
Yeah.
stepmom. I won't go into that whole situation too. But nothing changes.
No,
They don't
total.
change.
Mhm.
But yeah, um, he's still that same person. And I thank God every day that that's not my life. And I have forgiven and moved on and realized that what he said, that was, he was one with the problem.
Mm.
I didn't deserve
No, nobody
to be
deserves that.
hit and to be cheated on. But that's how I felt in that moment. And this was a few years ago before surgery when I
Mhm.
sent this message. And it was just that, when Facebook came around, you
Mhm.
start
You
all
see people.
these people come back into your life and you start seeing things. And I was, I had a lot of we had a lot of the same friends and connections. And someone he knew that knew me had kind of brought that conversation on. And
Mm.
but yeah, squirreled on you. But
No, it's okay. My thing is
yeah,
that, you know, when we have bariatric surgery, it only fixes our stomach. It doesn't fix
yeah,
our brain. It doesn't fix our heart.
yeah,
We still have to fix all of those things ourselves, and
yeah,
we're the only ones that can do it.
yeah. And I thought, having a man like my current husband Randy who loves me, that was enough for a long time. He healed me, but I still coped with food. I was happy. And then I went to that, I'm eating because I'm happy. No,
Mhm.
I was shoving those feelings down deep inside. I
You
didn't trust no matter what, even though Randy gave me no reason not to trust.
yeah.
And, he's always been there through thick and thin. And I'm now learning how to deal with life without focusing on the food and
Mhm.
not shoving my feelings down. I'm also learning to, because I shoved them down so long, so many years, I'm now learning how um, to react without exploding. And that's hard for me. That's where I am now because I have 35 years of anger that is going, and it's not even about anyone in my current life.
Yeah. And I can actually understand that. And again, I'm going to refer to my therapist because he has been absolutely amazing. I never would have thought I would have gotten this much out of it. But the people that we explode on right now have no idea why, because they weren't
Yeah.
there
They weren't
during the
there.
trauma.
Good. I like that.
Yeah. What he has kind of tasked me with doing is taking a moment and asking myself, who am I mad at? Who am I truly mad at? Am I mad at the person that I'm about to yell at? That's when you realize, okay. And that's where I was talking about that cycle, that circle, because you just keep going back at it. Because here's the thing, at one point, I wasn't getting any positive reinforcement, any positive love in my life. And so I would, they, he actually nailed it on the head, and it makes me sick to think I did this. I would start a fight to find out if he loved me or not. And he's not wrong. I've done that with my current husband. And we actually talked about it the other night. And it was just like, a light switch went on.
Yeah.
So, is my self-confidence much better now? Abso-flippin-lutely. Is it all due to bariatric surgery? No, but I think bariatric surgery opened the door because I never would have gone for mental health
Oh,
otherwise.
no, of course not.
I would have never.
Our generation would, no, we
No,
don't do that.
I mean, when my
We hide our
grandparents,
feelings.
100%. I mean, Gen X, absolutely. We just tuck them in the back seat.
That's right.
And my grandparents tried to get me to see a therapist when I was a teenager after they brought me into their home and adopted me. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I've got a new life now. And I wish I would be a different person in the fact that I would have not have bled all my anger out onto all these other people if I had dealt with it when I was younger. And that's the one thing, if I could say anything, I know our podcast is about bringing bariatric information out, but also they have to realize that some of this stuff also has to be dealt with as part of your
It's
journey.
not just about weight loss.
No.
Bariatric surgery is tied to so many different things. I didn't become 364 pounds just because I ate.
Well, someone told me one time, and it's really stuck with me. Weight on your body is one thing. The weight between your ears is something completely different. Because we talk to ourselves. When we talk to ourselves negative, we expect negative. We want it just becomes a cycle. And excuse me. And
Bariatric.
yeah, that's the bariatric belch, excuse me. Um God. But not to sit there and just beat the dead horse, but I think what we realize is that we've been through things. We used food as a coping mechanism. And now that food has changed as part of our bariatric journey, we have to deal with the mindset, the mental health, or it will come back. So I look at it, people always say, you had bariatric surgery. Aren't you afraid of it coming back? And my response recently has been, it will only come back if I let it.
And it's always in the back of our mind.
It's always in the back of our minds because I know you had this 28, 29 pound.
Yeah, we both had regained this year.
We did.
You've lost all
but 4 pounds.
All but 4 pounds. I'm just now getting started. I had gained 29 pounds. And I've lost, what was it?
3.3 pounds.
3.3 pounds.
In a couple of days. And all it took was refocusing.
And using my tool the right way.
But also realizing you had started using food again as a coping mechanism.
I was. The grieving, the loss of my mom.
Just stress.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
I was talking to my sister earlier today, and she was telling me how much she was missing my mom. She's still recovering from her surgery. And our mom's just so great, and she was that person that was always there. She would come to your home and physically take care of you, being a nurse, but she was a natural caregiver anyway, and she was that person in our life. We didn't even think about it. She took care of me. She helped care for me when I was recovering from my stroke. She came to my home when I had both of my children recovering from C-sections. She was there, even though she was in her 70s and having health problems herself, she was there when I went through my bariatric surgery. And I can promise you, if she was here today, when I had this paniculectomy, she would be there doing the wound care and everything.
She wouldn't leave your side until you were healing.
And we're just learning to navigate life without a mom. We go and we enjoy ourselves and we have fun, and as long as you're constantly moving and going and you've got to focus, it's when you stop that you realize
the silence gets very
loud. I don't have a mom anymore. And I always have a mom, but it's that thought of she's not here with me.
Right.
And that silence is deafening. It's so raw, and it'll hit you.
Especially as close as you were.
And it hits you like a ton of bricks, and you cry for a moment, you scream, you get angry, and then you're over it in a few minutes because you move on. You have no choice, but then it could be an hour later, it could be a month later. A moment happens and you're right back there.
And I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know mine's not as recent, but the loss of my grandmother was probably the most loss that I ever had.
It doesn't mean you don't still need her.
Oh, I need her every day.
So you still grieve.
I still grieve her. I talk to her every day.
Yes.
Are you proud of me? Oh, you would be laughing. I'm like, you would have had fun with Pam and I today. I have those conversations with her.
Oh my goodness. Your grandma and my mom.
They would have been besties. And they would have had the so cute little outfits that they wear.
I hope they have introduced themselves to each other in heaven. Because God knows that they're definitely up there in heaven.
They are. They're where we are. Absolutely. So after bariatric surgery, and we're kind of popping back to the confidence. Did you notice that you got a little louder once the pounds came off?
Oh, girl, I've always been loud. That's the bad part. I've always been loud. I'm a James.
Yes.
I have James blood in my veins. We are not quiet people. No, we are not. I wish I could say I got louder.
I got
I've
louder.
always been loud.
I got louder in my private life because I was such a
No, that.
quiet
Yeah.
person. Now
I
I
noticed.
now I just
When I met you, you were like a church mouse. You were just, yeah.
wanna
You would talk.
do.
You want to walk together?
You wanna be
And
my friend?
no, now you're like, hey, let's go to Goodwill.
It's Goodwill Hunting Day. Let's
Let's
get her
go.
done.
Get her done. Woo!
I love it. You got any questions for me, doll?
Yeah, because we've kind of we've had similar journeys
Mhm.
because of the weight loss, but we've had different whys.
Yes.
Has your why changed from when you made the decision to have surgery through the paniculectomy to this very moment?
100%. My original was to be able to run and play with my granddaughters. My granddaughters are still part of that why, but it's a very different now.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't think I'd be around to see them graduate from high school. Now they're still in elementary school, and as long as I stay healthy, I absolutely believe I will
Mm.
be there to watch them both walk across. I want to be around my family more, my son and his wife, and if they choose, are able to have kids, and whatever that life brings. But 100% has changed. Now I'm more looking at health as in my quality of life
Yeah.
because I see my mother-in-law. I've seen others that have really struggled once they've hit their 60s, and
It's harder to lose that weight and
it
get
is
healthy.
hard. It's really hard. They say it's hard after 40, it's hard after 50, but my concern was hitting 60, having issues, not being able to be mobile. You see some of these older generations, 70s and 80s, where they can barely walk.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to go for a walk, like go for a hike or a walk. If I want to be 80 and walk on the block.
I don't think I'd be sitting here today. I don't think I'd be on this earth if I hadn't had bariatric surgery.
Oh, I know it saved both our lives. There's no
I
doubt.
was definitely, I'd already had a stroke.
Hmm.
I was pre-diabetic. I was on blood pressure medication. I was on cholesterol medication. I was at the point where I couldn't go up and down steps. I, I can do anything. I was able to get in my car, drive to work, and sit at my desk and do my job. It was very painful to walk.
And let me ask you now. So I assume you had the same step walk that I did, which is when you went up or down steps, you did one step, brought your feet together, and went to the next step.
Oh, yes, but I would also avoid steps.
Yes.
I've told you the story about me going to Jacob's
Oh, yes.
orientation at VCU.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a lot of steps.
Yeah. But now you can run up and down the
Girl,
steps.
I could trot up and down them steps. Now I can run. Before we did this, I was in there on your
I
trampoline.
know. You were in there in the trampoline while I was
Yeah.
dealing with my husband outside.
Last weekend we did a 5K.
I know.
And we hit every one of those machines.
Oh my gosh, that was
around that track.
I was sore for days. And here's the thing, I would never have been someone to coordinate a 5K, let alone do it.
Yes.
And this is now going to be an annual. We're going to have
We're
an annual.
leading it
I
now.
know.
We
And
would have
it's
been
awesome.
I would have been hiding. I would have been sitting in a car eating a Twinkie and drinking a Dr. Pepper. What are you talking about?
I know. You know those ladies, all the ones that showed up to the 5K, when we actually went over to Amy's and had our kind of get to know each other time.
They were beautiful people.
Oh my gosh, my heart, look, I got chill bumps. My heart was just so full that day because these ladies come from so many different places, and only by having this did they get to meet each other, and now they're friends. They've switched, they were exchanging numbers and all this stuff, and it was just such a great situation.
We had a Bari Bestie come from West Virginia,
And we are in Virginia. We're kind of central.
which was a good 5 to 6 hours. We had one from
Manassas,
Virginia.
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina. What do you remember what part she was?
Not off the top of my head, but I can look it up. But
It was a
it was a
good
yeah,
7
yeah,
hours.
yeah. I was just really
Yeah.
impressed. I wasn't expecting that, and
And then
we had
Sandy, who we
Sandy,
had
who's
not seen in a long time.
Sandy's. I love
She was
Sandy.
our first Bari bestie.
She is actually our first Bari bestie, our very first joiner. And she has been along for this ride for the last 2 years. And she also had her surgery with Dr. Hami, and she has done amazing. She looks amazing.
Yeah.
She's been through hell and back, but she
Has
is
earned it.
earned it. She looks amazing. But really, what we're trying to figure out is, where do we go from here?
Well, we're not going backwards, that's for
No,
sure. You know,
we already did that.
Bari besties, we just have so many opportunities
Yeah.
in front of us, and I'm excited for 2026.
I am, absolutely.
I'm very excited for 2026. I can't wait. I'm having my paniculectomy and the
Yes.
fillet in December. There's just so much that we have in line. We have our entire year planned
Oh,
out.
yeah.
We have so much.
We have people that we're going to be interviewing. We
Yes.
have other bariatrics that we're going to be bringing to the community. We have doctors and plastics and
Yes.
nutritionists and fitness experts. We want to bring all of this to our Bari besties. And, Pam and I think the one thing is we never would be where we are today without bariatric surgery. We
wouldn't have known each other.
No, even though, we had the same doctor and we were on the same 5K, and that is how we met.
And you know what? I have to give a shout out to Mary Washington Weight Loss Center and Dr. Halmy and his team, because the way they create a bariatric community,
Oh,
a safe
yes.
space for us, they made sure that we had support.
Mhm.
They helped create this, because
Yeah.
we had those Tuesday night calls, and we started doing the 5Ks, and we had those Teams calls where we were face to face. We
Yes.
got to learn
They
who
wouldn't
everyone
they didn't like
was.
it when you weren't showing your face because
No.
you become more
So it wasn't like going to the doctor because you have strep throat and,
Right.
HIPAA kicks in and you can't, you don't. If I'm in there for a strep test, I don't get to connect with the lady next to me that
No.
broke her ankle.
No.
So this community that they created
Is how we
became friends. I think that is where my confidence started, because I remember that first time.
Girlfriend, you were on an elliptical during those meetings. She was booking it. We're all looking at her like, what are you doing? We're all sitting there with our coffee or our tea and sitting in our lounge chairs, and
I was
she
at
just
the gym.
booking it. But, I agree with that, because the more we talk to besties all around the United States, the more we find that they
Not
don't
everyone has
have
that.
what we have. Some people take what we have for granted. Immediately, day one, you working with Dr. Halmy and the weight loss, Mary
Yes.
Washington weight loss, you get support day one.
Yes.
And they follow you for at least a year, but you have lifetime access to that support.
I will be 4 years in March, and I still have that connection.
I do. I still get the emails about
Yes. You were just there Monday.
I was just there Monday. I had my telehealth on Monday. And by the way, I do not like BMI. I've lost 164 pounds, 65 pounds, excuse me. And it still says I am class as obese 1. I am 2.6 points away from being out of the obese. But I think it's stupid. Just saying.
BMI is
Bullshit.
yes, it is.
It is.
BS.
It's BS.
It's a lie.
My thing is I get that there has to be some kind of level set for everybody. And so BMI is what that is. I just have to decide that I'm okay with that being in my medical chart, but knowing that I am not obese. I am not the 344-pound Nina that I was 3 years ago. I am fitter. I am more capable. I am doing things now that I have never done. I've actually started making my bucket list of things I want to do. And you're going to do some of these with me.
I usually do. And I usually end up injured. Still recovering from the shoulder injury in June.
I have to remember
Because somebody wanted to do a sack race. I'm 5 years older than her.
5 years older than me. That's right. I'm 51. You're 56. But you're a couple days before me, birthday.
True.
So anyway, guys, I know,
57.
and I'll be 52. So that's the thing. We started in our late 40s on this. I'm what, 48,
No,
49? No, you were 50.
I had a stroke at 51 and surgery at 53.
I started this at 49. So our point is, it's never too late. You know, our doctor, his policy is he doesn't do anything over 70 years old. And that's just because of aging, and it also depends on your actual health. But every doctor is different. They also have non-surgical, remember? There's that non-surgical new procedure out there. It's still new, guys, so I don't know enough about it except for that they go through your throat, they pull your stomach in a little bit, they staple it up, and it's non-surgical. There's no cutting. So there's all kinds of options out there. But, we kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier. You'll hear over the course of some of our podcasts that there's an underlying tone of mental health, grieving, self, not having love of yourself.
And always expect the squirrel effect because we lose track of what we're talking about.
We enjoy
But
each
it
other.
all comes full
Yes.
circle back to where we started because that's the part. There's so much in here
Yes.
and in here when we
just start pouring out,
it just
comes
starts
out.
coming out, Who knew I was going to talk about a relationship that was one and done in 1991?
And here's the thing too. For those of you that are joining us either on a podcast or on YouTube, you can find us on social media, which we do talk about as well. We are mostly known in our Facebook group. We have 2 Facebook groups. One is Bari Bestiez with the Z. That is where you can enter in and just be part of the education where Pam and I will provide information. But you can also become a member of our Bari Chats with a Z group through our Patreon.
Fun stuff.
And that's where we get one-on-one conversations, support group meetings, all kinds of stuff. I mean, guys, we're going to be bringing in doctors and nutritionists, fitness experts, and
the we got
Bari Buddies.
Bari Buddies.
Yep. And, the big thing about it is just knowing you have a community. I know that there's more communities now in the bariatric world than there was when we started. OSLP was the only one we knew about at the time. I mean, to be honest, they were the pioneers in the bariatric community of getting the word out that this is a journey. You're going to have ups and downs, gains and losses. It's going to be hard. But if you put the effort in, you can do this. And by having other people to talk to rely on, it makes it so much easier. And so, guys, Bari Besties with a Z, make sure you understand that with a Z. That's who we are. And we just hope we're bringing some a side of this that you haven't heard before. And if you've heard it, join in. Just, we love to have comments. Let us know if there's topics you'd love for us to talk about because, we're here for you. That's really why we're doing this. So, guys, have a great one. Be strong because guess what? We're stronger together. Bye, guys. Why is ProCare Health Bari Bestie's preferred choice for bariatric vitamins and supplements?
They are designed specifically for bariatric bodies.
They have complete daily nutrition in one easy dose.
No fillers, no junk, just quality you can trust.
Tastes great and easy to stay consistent.
Saves patients 49 to 61% on their monthly supplement costs compared to other leading brands. They believe in quality over cost.
They're backed by real results in a community that cares.
Because after surgery, your vitamins shouldn't be complicated.
Go to procarenow.com. That's PROCARENOW.com and use the code Bari Bestiez. That's BARIBESTIEZ at checkout for 15% off your order or subscription. That's a wrap on Bari Chats. Besties, it's time to close the mic for now.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of honesty, laughter, and all things bariatric.
through the highs, the lows, the food noise, and the NSVs.
We hope you found connection, inspiration, and maybe even an aha moment along the way.
So follow and subscribe Bari Besties on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Want a behind the scenes up close action? Join us on YouTube and don't miss a moment.